What's the most expensive item you've ever moved?
The original, I could be wrong on this, but I know it's definitely the top. It was the original hand-drawn, pencil-drawn sketch of Princess Leia. It was the first time she was ever sketched with buns. That was out of the DeSoto.
Where's Princess Leia from? What country?
Princess Leia? Get out of here, man. And we're back with episode number 7. And welcome to the Sarasota Speaks podcast. As always, my name is Brad Hannon.
Felipe Colon.
And right here we've got Trey Martell joining us momentarily. We give Felipe a lot of crap for being late. We started this one without Trey. We got to give him some crap before he gets here.
We should let the record state we filmed this at a time that is not always the most convenient for all of us. I'll just leave that there.
It's not the most convenient for me either.
Yeah,
but
today it's not that convenient for Trey. I see.
He's on a roof, baby. It's fine.
We're happy to have Blake here. We hope this is convenient for you. I hear you just got out of an award ceremony.
I did, right up the road, too.
What kind of introduction is that? We got Blake Fitzpatrick from Sunshine Movers. Hey. I was going to do that part, but we just had to have that conversation and dialogue first. But we got Blake Fitzpatrick, Sunshine Movers, a leader and a legend in the community as far as the way you give back. So I can't wait to jump into that. But before we jump into that, tell us about the award that you just got and why you got it.
Let me go ahead and pull this thing out because I might just have it sitting right here. Hey,
got some hardware.
It's small, but that thing is heavy, Business Partner of the Year. Women's Council of Sarasota. I love that because when we partner with people, whether it be an organization, whether it be a realtor, anybody, it's a two-way street. We don't just look at people as, hey, send me your referrals. No, we try to figure out how can we be a partner that you can lean on, you can rely on, and that's what we did for them. So this award right here out of dozens and dozens of partners, and we got this right here, my first year really actually being with them, and we get this is awesome.
That is very cool. That is very cool.
There.
Well, we had to have you on because, we've been hearing your name so much. You need to meet Blake Fitzpatrick, Sunshine Movers. We were hearing
He's like a networking extraordinaire.
Just like you said, you guys partner with a lot of people, and that's kind of your main business. Well, maybe your main, you tell us what your main business strategy is, but it seems like you guys are partnering with all these organizations and giving so much that people can't help but kind of give you back and put your name out there. So tell us what Sunshine Movers is, what you do, and how you built up such a representation.
Well, first I want to touch on what you just said. You're hearing this everywhere. I'm going to tell you something. We don't pay a single dollar to Google Ads. I don't buy leads. I don't do any of that stuff. And the reason why is I believe in building a foundation. When you rely on Angie's List, Yelp, things like that, things that you compete with, that means one day, if that dries up, that revenue dries up. So when I'm looking at building my foundation, I want grassroots. I want referral partners. I want people that I can always rely on. Here's another thing that you have to think about. Sarasota is up and coming. A lot of these moving companies, because I'm a moving company owner, a lot of moving companies are looking at Florida as like, oh, I like that place. I want to go down there. Well, what the thing is they're going to Tampa, they're going to Orlando, they're going to the big cities. They're not looking at Sarasota. And if you're watching this, do not come to Sarasota. Yeah. Sarasota is horrible. It's dead down here. Oh, my God. But I always worry, like all these companies that come down here, these big juggernaut moving companies that looking at Florida, if they ever came down to Sarasota, they eat up my market share of SEO. They eat up my market share of all these other places digitally. But you know what they can't ever take? They can never take my referral partners, the relationships that I build. So the way I looked at it, it was a race to build as many relationships as I can before one of these juggernaut moving companies comes to Sarasota. Luckily, they have not came to Sarasota.
Right, so you just refuse to play the game so they can't ever beat you, right? If you're talking about you create your own game based on your referrals.
I love awesome. That. I love that.
Trey, welcome.
Appreciate
you coming. I know
what's so great about it is we were able to call you out for being late when it's normally Felipe, but
yeah, I thought about him the whole way here.
It's okay.
How's it going? Thanks for coming.
So, a little known fact about me is actually the first company that I ever owned was a moving company, right? We kind of talked a little bit off air before the show about that, but I can attest to the fact that most people that think about moving, they're like, hiring a company, whatever. It's just guys to lift the heavy stuff, right? It's like, oh, you just lift the heavy stuff, bring it down the stairs, bring it out the door, whatever. We've all helped. Everybody watching this has had at least a friend that's asked them to help move. And it's like, you're beating the crap out of your furniture. You're banging your dressers on the walls. You're scraping the paint. You're doing all that stuff. And when you own a moving company, it's not like that. That stuff leaves the house. It goes out of the house and goes back in the new house the same way that it was, before you touched it. And that's very, very difficent to do.
That's the goal.
It's very difficult.
That's the goal. No scratches, no dings, no
and it happens. Listen, it happens. We got our little wood paint. We got our, we got the things we can do to kind of make it right, of course. But, for the most part, I took a lot of pride in the way that we move furniture, right? So tell us a little bit about your white glove service and the things you do to really make that move successful and not break their stuff.
Well, let's talk about the reality of it. So we're a high-end moving company. We handle homes, crazy $14 million homes. I mean, it's crazy. You'll even walk into a $500,000 home and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars of furniture. That's Florida these days. But truth be told, that some of these furniture that we're dealing with, I mean, some people have never heard of this, but yeah, there's couches that are $50,000 that look just like the same couch that you and I sit on. There's nightstands that are, $10,000.
Who said I don't sit on $50,000 couches?
That look like the same nightstands that are sitting next to your kid's bed. You wouldn't even know the difference sometimes.
Right.
But the truth is that sometimes we handle furniture that a small scratch or a ding or a dent could devalue it by thousands of dollars. And truth be told, there's only a few moving companies in this area that can handle this furniture safely, that know how to handle this designer style furniture. And we're one of those companies. Yeah. And that doesn't come because I had all this skill and knowledge in the moving industry. When I got into the moving industry, I only had 30 days of experience when I started my company, which is a whole nother story on its own. Because I told you, I said something off air, it takes 80% of caring, 20% skill. Because if you have just a little bit of skill, that caring will take over. And I always cared for my customers. So even though I wasn't the most skilled mover, I still knew I needed to take care of that customer's furniture. And I have the common sense that a lot of people don't have.
It's a skill.
It is a skill.
Make no mistake about it. There's a skill to getting furniture on a dolly and getting it wrapped up and padded and making sure that it's protected on that move. And I just wanted to make sure that we touched on that because for those that don't understand moving somebody else's stuff, like expensive, nice stuff, I mean, it's not that easy.
People
so
do
hats
think
off
it's
to
just
you.
picking it up and putting it down, but there is so much more to that. There's wrapping it in cardboard. There's knowing when to pull out a crate and put it in a crate. There's knowing all these little things. And I think I still stick to my ground of it takes caring about their stuff first. If you care, you'll find the way to protect it.
Well, I'm interested because as the business owner, right, of course you care. Probably more than most of your employees, and I'm sure your employees care a whole lot. But you said you had 35, almost 40 employees now, right? How do you pass that same level of care on to your employees? What's the the training? What's the message to those guys? Because you've got to have the same level of care across the board to take care of it.
We create a company, a work environment that these employees, they want to be a part of. And when they know what the standard is, first of all, you give them a work environment that they love coming to work. And then maybe remind them every now and again how good they have it. And then put the standard out there of what it takes.
Like when they watch this show, they heard you say.
And then a standard of what it takes. Like, hey, guys, this is not okay. This is what's expected. And if they're reminded those things, they come into work, they want their job, and they're going to keep doing what they need to do to make sure that customer's taken care of. Now, I have a motto that's always stuck, and it's happy movers, happy clients. I take care of my guys. I know that when my guys leave in the morning in that truck and they have a smile on their face, the customer is going to have a smile as well. So we do things for our guys that no other moving companies do. One of the things is cooking breakfast for them regularly. We love doing that.
That's awesome. Before they go off to the jobs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I got it down to a routine because I pay these guys technically by the minute. So I've got this thing strategized. One time I cooked steak for these guys and it took like an hour long. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this again. I got it strict. It's eggs, bacon, wraps, done. In and out, see you later. I got the whole thing. Wrap it in tinfoil, see you later, bye. Get out of here.
Happy movers.
Happy movers, happy
Full
clients
bellies.
all day long.
You guys move 7 days a week?
6 days a week.
6 days?
Sundays
okay.
are off.
So Sundays, they're not showing up at your house like, Blake, where's breakfast?
No.
You know what I mean, you get so used to that.
Not. God.
Like, don't give them any ideas, right?
So I was late, obviously, and I heard you talk about the referral partners. What are some other strategies you do for marketing?
Well, so referral partners are number one. That's what I go for. But my big thing, I don't know. So I'm going to tell you a story. Can I tell you a story?
Story time.
It's one of my favorite
Only
stories.
if it's a story about the vibrating dresser.
All right, I'm going to go quick on this one. You guys ever heard of Dakin Dairy Farms?
Of course, yes.
Dakin Dairy Farms. Do you remember
Good
when
friend.
they almost went out of business and the community went nuts and everybody was running to the stores and buying gallons of milk from Dakin Dairy Farms, like $18 a gallon. Maybe not that much, but it was up there. But they didn't care because they cared so much about Dakin Dairy Farms. My goal is to be Dakin Dairy Farm. If we have an issue, if my company is going through a rocky experience, I want the community to come out and support us.
Yeah.
And you know how you do that? You be a part of the community. So I try everything I can to put my roots in the community by taking care of the community, by doing things I can do for nonprofits and like the hurricane that just came out, the two hurricanes that I'm sure that we're busy, but we also stepped aside and didn't just make a profit. We went out there and we helped people. And one, I love doing that thing, doing that kind of stuff. But on the other end of that, it's easily justifiable in the name of business because when people see that, they love that, and we get more business because of that.
Absolutely.
Everyone wins.
Everybody wins.
So what are some of the things you were doing hurricane relief wise? Were you helping people move the stuff out of their house?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even you guys did food drives and stuff, because I know I got a call from one of your marketing folks, Zoe, who's a friend of mine.
To get some food?
And no, to deliver some supplies that you guys had access to some areas that were in need.
So we've done this before.
Right, everybody talks about Siesta Key, but there's lots of other places that were devastated in Manatee County and other areas of Sarasota that not everybody was talking about, and you guys were going to those places.
Yeah, so we got it down to an SOP at this point. So when a hurricane hits, there's going to be a need for a warehouse to receive donations because everybody wants to send donations down from any direction. They need a place to receive them. That's a warehouse with somebody that works in that warehouse. That's us. We do that. We open our warehouse up for that stuff. Then they need a means of delivering it to distribution sites. That's us. We'll deliver it. We set it all up. We organize it. So that's what we do. The interesting thing is we had 2 hurricanes that hit back to back. The first one, there was distribution sites. Everything was running great. We were bringing stuff in. Once that second hurricane came, those distribution sites, they didn't pop back up immediately. And our warehouse was slammed full of all this donation stuff. So to talk to that, we had to go make our own donation site. And that was not something that we planned on doing or wanted to do because it takes a lot, but we did it. We hooked up with a church. We set a bunch of stuff out and managed it, and we sat out there for a few hours just handing out donations back left and right, left and right. Yeah, it was good stuff. Feels good.
So what are some other, and that's something obviously we can't really plan for, right? But what are some of the, Sarasota community type events and things that you're a part of that have been the most influential for you?
Nonprofits. We do, starting out 10 years ago, anytime a nonprofit would call me up, I would always, do something special for them, whatever I could. I'm very proud, and I can actually put this on a podcast, that we do free moves for nonprofits and charities. And I can say that because when I say this, nonprofits and charities that hear this are going to say, ooh, I want to call them. I would be afraid to say this 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I have no problem saying it now because I love doing it. So a piece of every single move that we do, pieces of proceeds, goes to helping us move for nonprofits. Because think about it, these nonprofits, these charities, they have a budget. And that budget is put towards something good. And sometimes that budget is a little bit limited. Sometimes it's
a pretty big budget, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, well, give or take.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. That
Brad hates nonprofits.
I do not.
Continue.
You got something against Cat Depot? Come on.
But when we come in, there's some of these nonprofits, and I know because I move their stuff, and there's desks that my kids have nicer desks, and my kids don't have nice desks in their rooms. I'm going to tell you that right now. And everything's just tattered and beat up. And we could have charged them $2,000 for this little, 1 day, 4-man, 3-man move. We did it for free. That means that they're going to take that $2,000, going to put it towards something better. Healthy Teens, that's another one in Bradenton we did. And you could tell they could use that budget towards something better. 100%.
What are the moving rates these days?
So we do things for our referral partners. We have fluctuated rates, but anywhere between $70 and $79 per man per hour.
Okay,
that's the going rate right now. If you find one of these unlicensed mover guys that are floating around, you might get away with like 50, 55, but then you'll end up spending about $5,000 to replace all your.
I think we were at 90 for 2 men in a truck, and then $70 every additional man or $90 every additional truck.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I mean, we're talking like 9 years ago now.
Yeah. We keep it simple.
Maybe more.
Flat, straight, same rate across the board. 2 guys, 5 guys, 20 guys, however many guys you want, $79 per man per hour. And then we work deals out. We have referral partners. We have people that pass us jobs left and right. I will tell you what I do with a lot of my referral partners because, you hear about people that do kickbacks. I have referral partners that don't want any type of kickback. They just want their clients taken care of. Well, I take it another step.
And a referral in return, hopefully, yeah.
Well, there are some one-way streets out there. I don't have referrals for realtors, but what I do for realtors, and this is important, when a realtor refers us a client, we take care of that realtor or that client. We give them X, Y, and Z. One of those things is a discounted rate. Instead of $79 per hour, they might be paying $75 per man per hour. But the number one thing is that client is always told, you got X, Y, and Z because of your realtor. So that way, the realtor looks great in the end. We make the realtor the rock star, the hero of the story every single time.
Love it.
And they love it. They love it.
Do you guys do full packing moves as well?
Full pack, unpack, everything.
That was
paintings,
always my worst. That was the worst thing.
You name it, we handle stuff. We've moved some crazy stuff.
What's the most expensive item you've ever moved?
The original I could be wrong on this, but I know it's definitely the top. It was the original hand-drawn, pencil-drawn sketch of Princess Leia. It was the first time she was ever sketched with buns. That was out of the DeSoto.
Where's Princess Leia from? What country?
Princess Leia. Get out of here, man.
All right, so you guys missed the pre-show.
One day you'll stomp me.
You guys missed the pre-show, and I would be remiss if we didn't just go right into this because it was a great story. So I'll tee it up with this. What is the craziest experience you've ever had on a move?
My first move.
Okay.
My very first move. So my first move wasn't a real move, but my first real move was the second one after that. We show up out in Parrish. We get out there. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. My first time moving. I'm starting at 9 o'clock. I didn't know the importance of starting at 7:30. 9 o'clock we get there. Ladies drinking. First thing we pull up, 65-year-old woman by herself in her house. She's drinking. There was a motorcycle in the driveway too, so I already kind of knew what was going on when I pulled up. Nothing against people that drive motorcycles. My mom does.
But if you're 65
I know what's
and
going
single
on.
and you're, yeah.
So I got there, the lady's drinking a beer. She offers us beer. We declined and said no. But she was cool. Like, we just hop right into it. So we get into the master bedroom, and I remember we lift up the dresser. We're moving it around. We felt it was loaded. So we're like, oh, ma'am, do you have stuff in here? She's like, yeah. We pull out the drawer. There's a bong. So there's a bong in here. She's like, do you guys want to hit? No. So she pulls her bong out. Super cool lady. Super nice lady. Great first customer.
Real chill.
Super chill.
Super chill.
She gets her bong out. We did not check through the rest of the dresser. So we're continuing to move. We get everything out of the house. Everything's good. We get to the new house. It's a trailer. There's a reason I'm telling you that. So we get to the house, and we get to that same dresser. We pop it up, and we go to roll it out. It was me and Mark. And we go to roll it out, and we hear something. It took me a second. Mark knew immediately, because when I looked at him and I'm trying to figure it out, he's looking at me like, I know. I was like, I don't know. What do you Oh, that's what that is. So we got it up. It stopped doing it. We're like, all right, good. All right, let's keep going.
I'll give you a hint, Felipe. It wasn't a bong.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Brett.
So it's a trailer. Trailers have a couple of steps that get to the front door. So we get to those steps. We pop, 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 pulling up the steps. Well, it turned it back on. We get into the house.
Of course it did.
We
Couple
both
bop, bop, bops, and it got turned right on.
Yeah. So we get inside, and Mark's looking at me. I'm locked in. I will never forget this. Me and Mark were just locked in, eye contact. There's the customer right there. And I've got the dolly, and it's, and we're coming in, and he's kind of like navigating because it's a tight area through there. And the lady's like, oh, hold on. We haven't had a dog in like 2 years, but look, there's dog fur all over the bottom of that dresser. Let me get that off. And again, me and Mark are just like, uh-huh. She comes over and she dusts the dog hair off of the bottom of this dresser the whole time. I'm like,
So it had a strong battery in it.
it was a good battery. But you know what's funny is that when I got it into the room, because she followed, she was trying to like tell us where to put it. I set the thing down to where it locked Mark in the room and he couldn't get out the door. And I just walked away. It's like, that's you.
How long was Mark in the room for?
He never came out. Never to be seen
I haven't
again.
seen Mark since.
I think he lives there in the trailer with him. Oh man, I
That's
can
one of my
honestly say
favorites.
I've not had that experience ever on a move.
That's not the only time, but that's the funniest one. That's the most memorable.
So some moving companies, I know they rent their vehicles. Do you own your trucks?
Oh yeah, we own 12 of them.
You want to talk about the pros and cons between renting and owning?
I mean, what do you want to say? You rent your truck, do the math. You're giving away money. I mean, yeah, it's a depreciating asset, but you do the math on it. You're going to pay way more for rented truck. Now there is a different model with lease trucks, and that's for tax purposes. So that's when you're setting up your business to sell it maybe down the road. A lot of guys do that. So honestly, I'm in grow mode. I'm not even looking at selling my company anytime soon. If I sell it down the road, hey,
I was pitching a layup. So obviously you wrap all your trucks, and I see them all around town, and you probably get the same stuff I get. We see you everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's called omnipresence, right? So that's what you're going for, and I think you've absolutely achieved it. And the other model that I mentioned, by renting the trucks, you absolutely can't achieve that, right? Because
I think the only companies that are actually renting trucks are renting trucks for just jobs they don't have the trucks for. Like if you need an additional truck.
I was
on a
told
job.
that, the owner that I spoke with us about, that he rented his trucks. He liked the idea of security in case a truck broke down on a long move.
there are some
we rented
people-
trucks. We had a Penske deal where we would rent from Penske. We had an agreement with them. We would rent those for long distance moves instead of taking our own over the road, which I came to find out later. I was like 19 owning this company. I don't think it was legal to do out-of-state moves.
What were you
There's
doing?
a way of doing it the right way.
Well, I was not doing it the right
big
way.
one.
I remember the first time when, and this was probably after a few moves under my belt, when we went to get insurance, liability insurance. And I went to this office and tried to get this insurance policy pulled out, and it was going to be a lot of money. I'm like, oh, I'll come back in a couple weeks. Need to do a few more jobs without insurance first. Just trying to figure it out. I was a kid. So.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. My first year in business, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even plan on having a real company. I just wanted to do this. I was like, I'm gonna buy a truck and charge a couple of bucks and make some money. I wasn't planning on having a full blown company. And like 6 months in, maybe even further than that, I was like, this is kind of legit. Maybe I should kind of look at what I need to do and then get my licensing. And I did. I got it all.
So to have 35 employees, 12 trucks, you got to keep those things on the road. You got to keep those employees, working and paid. How many moves a week are you guys doing right now?
We do anywhere between, depending on how big the jobs are, between 5 and 9 moves a day.
Wow.
So there you go. Between 5 and 9.
Some of them are, full house moves. Other times you're just moving a piece or.
No, we don't do small moves. We have a 4-hour minimum, and we don't even like doing that. We go after full moves. Our goal is that when our guys go out, they get an 8-hour day.
Yep.
Our guys don't want to have a 4-hour day, and they won't want to have a 12-hour day. We aim for 8-hour days. That's what we do.
Love it.
Yeah.
How do you do with finding and retaining employees? Because I know that's a big point of discussion around here. The work that you guys do is hard work.
Yeah.
Right. And you're
a
working 8-hour days, right?
As a business owner, I have a mentality that kind of comes along that I always look for my weaknesses. And I think it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. It was
Found any
yet? It was it was before COVID that I was looking at. Our weakness was the hiring process. And so I wanted to dial in on the hiring process. And I probably spent more time than I should. And I created a hiring process, a hiring video that's awesome, showing what we do for our guys. We do a lot. We cook breakfast. We have bonus programs. Everybody in my company gets a bonus. And so we just found a way to make sure that we articulate that to the community. Well, now at this point, the movers are a very small, they make up their own little community of people. They know each other. Well, everybody in this area knows that we're the number one company to work for. Facts. So we have, I think it was 2020, 2021. We got an award for one of the best companies to work for.
I love
2021.
So you have a similar process for the hiring now, word of mouth amongst the employees.
That's one of them. We've done some bonus spiffs for guys that bring in other guys.
That's always a good way.
I do have a couple of tricks that I cannot put on this podcast. I'll tell you guys afterwards.
Whispering if Felipe's ear on the break.
Hey, we're having an absolute blast here getting to know Blake Fitzpatrick and Sunshine Movers. If you want to get to know him a little bit more, stay tuned for rapid fire questions fueled by food and beer.
Hey guys, Blake Fitzpatrick here, owner of Sunshine Movers, and this is Rapid Fire.
10 random questions, 10 specific answers, nothing off limits. This is Rapid Fire, fueled by food and beer. Everybody loves music. What's the first album you ever bought?
Limp Bizkit.
What's your biggest fear?
Heights, which is why I took flying lessons to try to beat that fear.
What's your favorite place to visit?
Thailand, number 1. Number 2, Venice, Italy.
Have you ever pulled a prank on anybody? What was it?
Absolutely, multiple of them. One time we pad wrapped a fire hydrant and had a guy try to go pick it up until he realized he couldn't pick it up.
Man, that's messed up.
Toilet paper, over or under, or stuck to your shoe?
Over all day long.
You are correct, sir. Yes!
What's your favorite show to binge watch?
Say my name.
Breaking Bad was a good one. That's probably the best. We'll probably do it again.
You're a damn right.
If you weren't in your current occupation, what other line of work would you be in?
Restoration.
Who's the go-to-goats? Tom Brady or Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
You have chosen wisely.
If you could instantly become an expert at anything, what would it be?
I actually would love to be a business coach in the future.
There's 3 P's that you got to annihilate, crush, or destroy.
So it would be expert on business coaching, SOPs, that kind of thing.
If you're stranded on a deserted island, would you rather be with your worst enemy or just be by yourself?
Whoa. Worst enemy.
Okie dokie.
Worst case scenario, I'll take him out and I'll be back to by myself.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Love what you guys do, particularly because you're not like the big companies who come in here, the carpetbaggers, if you will, from other places.
Carpetbaggers?
It's a political term.
Never heard of it.
It's when somebody's from another area and they move to an area just to run for office. It's a carpetbagger. It's an old term.
Carpets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess there's probably an interesting origin that may or may not be related to moving there too. So
I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Sounds like it has some innuendos in it.
I'm sure it does.
I like it even more.
It's definitely a pejorative term. So, but in any case, you guys are not that. You're homegrown. You're from right here in Sarasota, Manatee area.
Nope.
You told us how you started the company. You know how you grew more than you thought you'd grow. But now, because of that, and you're homegrown, you do things a little bit differently. You talked a little bit about it. Let's talk more about what that actually means for what you do for these nonprofits. Maybe if you could give us some examples.
Just in general, the community, nonprofits being a part of the community. But no matter what it is, if there's anything that's helping the community, I want to be a part of it. And you might hear of we were talking about one. Say Love Freedom, a big organization. A lot of people know about it. They help with sex trafficking, getting women off the streets, giving them a place to stay. Just an amazing organization. It's also a very well-known organization. Well, here's a fun fact. They called my company, didn't tell me, didn't call me, God forbid. They called the company, got a quote, and it was $6,800. Big move. Matter of fact, it was actually this building right here. It's in this building. Say Love Freedom was in this building. But no longer anymore. But anyways, $6,800. And I found out about the moving quote, and I looked at it, and so I called some people and said, hey, listen, I love you guys. I want to give back. So you guys haven't booked the move. I don't know why, whatever. Let me come out and take a look. I looked at the move. I said, okay, this move is going to cost me, give or take, $2,000 is what I was looking at. I said, I tell you what, let's call it $1,600. That'll cover my costs for sure. And if I pay a few more bucks, so be it. That's kind of what I like to do for the community and nonprofits. And it's either at cost or free. In this case, it was at cost. So we set the move up. I was excited about it. Big part of the moving for them. And, I didn't it's such a good organization. I want to be able to say that I moved Say La Freedom for free. So I was sitting with their business development. This is my strategies that I play. And this is something that I love. Maybe I shouldn't put this on podcast, but I'm going to put it out there because I love this. So I was sitting with the business development and I was chatting with her. And I said, I love the fact of what we're doing for you guys. I know you guys appreciate it. But, it's one thing to be able to say, I did the move at cost. But it's another thing to say, I did the move for free, pro bono, full all the way. And so I was talking to her, I said, what can I do? What do we got to do? Like, can I get some value back to justify this? And she's like, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. And I said, you know what? It's done. Let's do it. But here's the kick. This is the part where I get strategy involved. I said, hey, listen. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to give you the move for free, but I want you to be the one that made it happen. I want you to go back to your office and say, hey, I talked to Blake and we got the move for free. You know why I did that? I made her the hero. You make other people the hero of their own stories and you win all the time. I made her the hero of the story. She went back, said, I got the move for you guys for free. So guess what? Now I have somebody that does business development for them, and she's also now doing business development for free. For me. Sorry, didn't say for free, but for me.
Oh, in a way, it's for free too,
It is
right?
for free. That's why I kind of slipped out of that.
Yeah.
But I made her the winner, and in the end, we all win. Those are the little things that we do, and I love giving back.
So
giving back.
Did she structure it as an in-kind donation, essentially?
I mean,
that's her. Well, my mom was in corporate philanthropy for 25 years, so I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Which is really cool. That she was able to do that for you guys, and
it was a good time.
for them.
Another thing too about doing these moves, because we've done quite a few of them. And this is a big piece of it, is the guys are involved in these moves, right? They're getting paid by the hour. They're not doing it for free. We're doing it for free, but they're not. But when they're out there and they're working with the people with these nonprofits, the people in these organizations, they're showing so much appreciation towards us, and those guys are feeling that appreciation. When they come back off these jobs, the culture is getting higher and higher. These guys are out here doing something good for the community, even though they're getting paid by the hour and they're all paid. They're still feeling the appreciation from these people, these organizations. So when they come back, their spirits are higher, their culture is lifted up, and it's amazing. We do the same thing with our office and our guys. In fact, we've actually put it into play that every single person in our company has to give back at least one day of the year. And that could be like Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance has the give back days where you can sign up for, things like that, going out and planting flowers, any of those types of things. Of course, they get paid for it, but the fact that they're a part of it is amazing.
Well, yeah, Trey, we talk about this a lot with your business because, like you're saying, if the only thing you're working for is money, then the only thing that matters is the money, right? If you create these other avenues where they feel like they're being valued and they're giving value, they're going to think differently about their work, right? I mean, you talk about this a lot in terms of how you build a culture in your company.
This is going to be a dumb one, but
sometimes the dumb ones are the best.
My guys love the shirts, right? So people that come and work for us, they get the shirts, they get the gear. Even if they move on to another company, we drive by, we see them working for one of our competitors in our shirts. Okay, so it becomes like I'm not sure. It's cool to wear these shirts amongst the people that put the roofs on.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a source of pride, I would think. It's belonging to something bigger than yourself. I mean, these are all the things that, you learn in sports when you're young, and then that stuff was originally designed for young boys to join the military, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this isn't new stuff. You know what I mean?
And looping back to what he said before about, you hear a bunch of our competitors in his industry and my industry constantly complain, we don't have enough people that want to work. We don't have the workforce. We have people beating our door down to work for us all the time, constantly stopping by. Even right now when it's really busy and everyone's hiring for roofing, we have people beating that door down, salesmen, installers, admin, to come work for Strong Roofing. And it's a good feeling.
But
so
you also have people come from other states. Do you guys have that issue as well? People who are like, I just moved here and I want to work for you. You get in that kind of stuff too?
If I see anybody with an out of state area code calling for a job, all day long, get them in the door as fast as possible.
All right, break this down for us because me and Trey have talked about this with his
amazing work ethic.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I've seen, not every time, but for the most part, people that come down here from other states, they have a better work ethic. It is what it is. And I'm from Florida, and I can say that.
You can say it. I won't say it.
The struggle we have, we like the out-of-state guys. There's a learning curve for Florida roofing. So every part of the region of the United States, they put a roof on a different way, right? So you bring them down, and the one downside, again, is, well, back in Minnesota, we did it doesn't fucking matter how you did in Minnesota. This is the way you have to do it in Florida, And
our construction is completely different because of our climate. Do you have any differences in the way people move down here versus elsewhere? Or
no, furniture stays the same. I mean, it's the same furniture. The only difference is you need to bring an extra shirt because you're going to sweat.
Very cool. And you got to drink that water and stay hydrated.
Lots of water.
The heat, yep.
The heat. Very cool. Well, we want to go kind of into more, since you're so involved in the community, you probably have some interesting thoughts about Sarasota as a whole, beyond just your business and your partners. What are your thoughts on kind of how Sarasota's grown and what the community's turned into?
It's tough because this is where I grew up. The places that I used to play out in the woods and stuff, they're now housing developments, and that's kind of tough for me. But, it's good for business, but it does stink, man. It's not the same Sarasota. It's not the same Bradenton, but I'm sure everybody says that. People that are 65 years old say the same thing about when they were 15 years old. So get over it. This is where we're at. And it's business, and business is good right now. So
might have missed this. Where do you go to high school?
Bayshore.
Bayshore, okay. Yeah. Bradenton boy.
So how much of your business, obviously you're a mover. It's much more explicit. You're almost like a realtor in that people moving to the area directly impacts your business.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how that plays out?
Let me ask something else real quick. So you rely heavily on referrals from realtors and the real estate market in general. What other source is a big revenue for you?
We work with a container company called Units. Same containers as you'd see from Pods, but by far way more customer service. Love the owners of that company. It's a franchise, but the franchise owners down here, they send us tons of work. Okay. I've got insurance agents. It's funny that you think okay, I'm only for realtors and property managers, but it's crazy. You turn a rock of the craziest source and boom, tons of referrals. And you know what I got to say? A guy, it was a home builder, and he told me something. When I was early in my business, I would look up in a way to some of my customers, because I was moving the furniture, right? I was doing everything. So when I work with like, you know, a business owner or something, I would watch him and I try to see like, oh, what is he doing that I need to do? What's the secret sauce? And I remember there was this home builder, and he would use us he would do his own home staging. He would stage all of his homes that he built. And so we started working with him constantly. And he kind of picked up that I was, you know, picking at him and trying to figure out like, you know, some of these things. And he kind of, you know, pulled me under his arm a little bit. He was giving me hints and tips. And he told me something, and I'll never forget it. He said, Blake, don't chase the money. He said, all you need to do is chase the art of taking care of people. And I'm not talking about just your employees. He said, take care of everybody around you, your employees, your customers, the people you're standing behind in the grocery store. If you just follow taking care of people, the money will follow. And I followed the hell out of that saying, and it works so well. If you just take care of people, be considerate, say, yes, ma'am, thank you, I like, and just have a good energy about you, that money will just come flying at you. Referrals come flying at you. Referral partners left and right. People saying, oh, I want to work with you. Come over here and do this. And now I'm learning the number one art is inspiring others. If you can inspire people to do things, you're locked and loaded. I inspire people to do things, and next thing you know, they're excited to refer business to us. I love it.
Break down what you mean by that. Are you talking like lead by example, or because of all the community stuff you do? Or
well, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to inspire somebody right now. Don't pay for, I mean, if you want to pay for Google Ads, go for it. But I don't pay for Google Ads. I don't pay for none of that crap. What I do is I put my money in the community. I'll go out there and do a pro bono move. I'll go out there and donate some stuff to some places. And that alone brings me the business. That alone brings me the business. Now, what I just did is I'm telling people, if you put your time and effort into the community, you will get jobs, you will get referrals, you will get recognition. So this is my inspiration to other company owners to dive in, give back to your community, and the money will follow. There's my inspiration.
Are you inspired, Felipe?
I feel pretty darn inspired.
Well, Felipe has this weird thing about marketing. He thinks that he's exclusive because he's a financial advisor, and I always encourage him to market more.
I don't even use that term, my man. I don't use the term financial advisor. I don't tell my clients not to go get Starbucks because it's too expensive. I'm not in that business. I'm in the investment business.
You know, I did the math on Starbucks. If you go to Starbucks every day, I forget how many. It was only like a few months or like 9 months. You could buy a round-trip plane ticket to Thailand. So what's keeping you back? Stop going to
Starbucks and start
Stop going to Starbucks
right?
and go to Thailand.
Yeah,
Their coffee's cheap.
That's good. That's very good advice.
You need to wrap your car. So you're only partners. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I'm inspiring you.
You know. And you're also on a roof. I get it. Well, you missed when he was here earlier, and he was talking about some of the high-end moves that they're able to do. You know, like big houses with expensive furniture.
How about
that was pretty interesting.
Any limitations, state lines, or anything like that? Or
no, we'll move you out of the country.
Okay.
We've moved people to Africa. We've moved people to South America, Europe, many to Europe. So we'll move you anywhere.
So when you're going out of the country, like the longer moves, do you use your A team, or who's willing to go on those trips away from family and
very select few? Yeah. It's tough. Yeah. I remember when we got our out of state license, and we were all excited, like, yeah, we're gonna make some money.
And then, your employees looked at you cross-eyed, like,
yeah. I laid out the payment process, and they're like, I'd rather just stay home.
Yeah.
And that was when I realized I pay my guys way too much. Like, it's tough. Like, they're already taken care of. Why would they want to leave? They're getting paychecks over $1,000.
They're not getting their breakfast in New Jersey.
Yeah. And then the ones that do want to leave, that are like, oh, yeah, I want to go out of state, you got to be careful. Y'all are just trying to go have a good time.
You got to set a curfew, huh?
Yeah, there's a nostalgia. Us moving company owners have talked about this. When you get in that truck and you're going on an out-of-state run, there's like a nostalgic feeling, like, ooh, yeah, I'm away from home. And if you're not used to that feeling, and I can kind of be guilty of this a little bit, if you're not used to that feeling, it'll take you places that you shouldn't go, because you get excited. You're like, ooh, I'm in a new place. I'm not at home anymore. Like, ooh, let me go to this place that I shouldn't go to. I'm not going to go any further.
That sounds like that sounds like your dad's traveling roofing stories, right? Because he did a lot of big commercial roofs in the Northeast.
Yeah.
So they would travel to cruise around.
Well, he was working on some franchise roofs. I forget, like something like Blockbusters all around the Northeast. So he was constantly out of town, and he even worked for a while down in the Caribbean. So
Good
He had a
times.
good time. He has some good stories. I'll share with you off air.
Those are off-air stories.
I remember my first out-of-state move. This was before we were licensed, so it is what it is. Come get me. This is like fucking. This is like
7 years statute of limitations.
Well, this was probably 8 years ago, and
you
I
go.
remember telling the client, I was like, I'm not supposed to do this. She's like, I don't want anybody else touching my stuff. I was like, all right, we'll do it. So we took her to Vegas. We put her car. This is a funny story. God, this might come back. No, it won't. We put her stuff. She's like, and then after we accepted the job, then she's like, I don't have a way of getting my car to Vegas. And I was like, dang, this is tough. So we can hook it to the back of the truck, but then we have this tag on the back of this car that clearly states a woman's name, and it's going to be a guy driving the truck. This is scary. Well, we did it anyways because, why not? So we put her stuff on there. What a crazy trip this was. Her car almost fell off the car dolly. The dude pulled up next to us, like honking his horn, like, "What are you doing?" I remember the guy that was when we flicked him off. Thought, "Yeah, fuck you." Then come to find out, the car was like barely strapped on. The straps were coming off, and it was about to come off.
We're professionals.
Well,
I remember
what state was that in? I'm just curious.
This is on the way to Vegas.
But what state do you think you're in along the way?
Oklahoma.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm like, all right, Oklahoma guys are polite and they watch out for you.
So we got out. The guy pulls in after, because we stopped. We realized something wasn't right. We stopped. The guy comes up. He's like, "Oh, you got it," and he gets out the phone. He's on the phone with DOT. He's like, "Yeah, they stopped." I'm like, "Whoa." We got in the truck, hauled ass. We got out of there. We got to Vegas. Lady pays us in cash. All that cash was gone before we went home. Lady paid us like $8,000 in cash in Vegas. We're like, shit. Those out-of-state jobs, they can be fun. You got to be careful.
You got anything else you want to talk about specifically before we get into our promo stuff?
Nah, man, I enjoy just talking. So, I mean, we just lay out whatever out there.
I mean, I know where I know you from like the word of mouth events, from the BNI events, from I think you're at RASM as well.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
I will put it out there. Collaboration is everything for me. I love collaborating. My job in my business, I don't do estimates anymore. I don't do dispatch. We have operations managers. I still have to deal with day-to-day fires that they can't put out. They need me to pull out my fire extinguisher and hit it with. But my number one job in my company right now is collaborating and networking. So if anybody is hearing this and they want to collaborate with a moving company, now regardless of the riffraff you just heard me say, if you look us up online, you'll see we're one of the only moving companies in the country that's been in business as long as we have that do not have a bad review on Google. We don't, knock on wood. That's who we are. So if anybody is looking at collaborating with a company that truly cares for their clients and cares for the community, that's what I'm here to do. And people can easily connect with me. You can email me, blakef@sunshinemovers.com, or put it in the link. You'll catch it there.
I mean, there you go. I mean, how many companies does the owner give you his direct email? And
you want to give your cell phone away too?
Yeah.
No, not today.
Well, at this point, we like to ask a particular Sarasota question. I'll leave it to Trey to do that, as he always likes to do.
And you might have a unique perspective, given that you guys are on the road very often with large trucks.
Big old trucks.
What do you think about roundabouts? Do you love them? Do you hate them? And why?
Tominator Law wants to know as well.
Yeah.
I love watching them. Sometimes we do moves that have a nice vantage point of those roundabouts, and we sit there and watch sometimes.
Right, that's your entertainment during lunch. You
Yeah,
can
that's
sit
the
there and have a
entertainment.
sandwich and-
I don't like them. It is scary knowing those big trucks because they're hard to make those, getting around those. And the people don't know how to use them. They're zigzagging in the lanes. No, I don't like them.
I have a story about a roundabout recently. So my wife drives my car, my Corvette, and I drive the work truck, and hopped in the car with Morgan, who listens to how to drive around roundabouts once a week at least. She sits in that chair right there. She hopped in the roundabout and got in the wrong lane and shot off the wrong direction. And I'm like, what are you doing?
How did you know about this? Were you following her or something?
No, I was in the passenger
you were in the
seat.
passenger
Yeah,
seat.
I'm like, you're in the turn lane, dude.
So
What
you
are
get
doing?
chauffeured in your car now? This guy.
Not very manly of me.
Oh, no, this guy's gotten big time, right? So as we kind of hinted at earlier, when we talk about roundabouts, it's fun to joke about roundabouts because it's new and it's different and it's round and there's a lot of them, right? But we're really asking about the growth and the change in Sarasota and how people feel about that and all these people coming down here. And before Trey interrupted me, I was asking you how much new people moving to the area means to your business in terms of it being like the lifeblood. Because I know for him, it's like the fact that the insurance companies mandate us to have 15-year-old roofs or else. I mean, that's probably his lifeblood. But I would think people new to Sarasota coming in are yours.
When you're moving from one state to another, you're usually going to call the company in the state that you're in. So a lot of these people that moved down here from another state, they didn't use us. They used somebody else. But here's what's interesting. Check this out. This is a good one. So through COVID, you know that moving was in high demand because everybody was moving. That was also when it was extremely hard to find employees. Very hard. So you had high demand and then very hard to find employees. Do you know that 90% of the people that moved down here, by the way, I just made up the 90%. I'm just kind of going off the cuff on that. But 90% of the people that moved
Sounds
down
believable.
here.
You should say 92%.
92.5%.
That sounds super believable.
We don't fact check.
92.3% actually of the people that moved down here had a bad moving experience. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about that, so I hate to hear that, but I also love to hear that because that means that they are now doing their research. Imagine if every person that had their roof done in the last 5 years had a horrible experience. In 10 to 15 years when they're replacing their roof, or 5 years, whatever you recommend, that they're going to now do the research and find make sure it's a good roofing company. Because people have this thought that movers just pick stuff up and they put it down.
Well, you know, what they probably do is they're like, well, what's the price? I'll go with the cheapest one.
Yeah.
Like,
and no
what's
longer
the difference?
Yeah. So that's the thing. Now that they've had this bad moving experience, they realize the importance of finding a good company. See, people don't think about it. They can just pick this up and put it down. But listen, this is a very important part of your life. You're going from one house to another. It's a new chapter of your life. You are allowing complete strangers to walk into your house, touch every single thing that you own in the most intimate areas of your home, put it in a truck and drive away. And hope that they show up at the other house, but they will. And just hope that they do a good job and don't beat up the walls. It's a very important process, and people think, oh, I can just get the cheapest guy in town. Would you hire the cheapest surgeon? Would you hire the cheapest babysitter? That's
Absolutely
crazy.
not.
Same difference. We're touching everything you own in your home.
You know, I'm glad you touched on that because that reminded me of one thing that I hear. I see some of these commercials on like streaming TV, and there are all these movie companies where they say, I'm an ex-cop from New York. I know, I'm trustworthy, and I have this great big moving company, and you don't want to use these other guys.
Go look at their
I hear
reviews.
the
I know what
horror
you're talking
stories.
about.
You know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
So, I don't know. I don't even know the name, but good something. Yeah.
Yeah. Used to be. He used to be in the what's that company? Worst company in existence. I'm not even gonna say it now.
But it's kind of like a scare
I'm gonna
tactic.
shoot myself in the foot. They're gonna come after me.
You can say it.
But what they're implying in that commercial is that you can't just hire anybody to move your stuff because they might not show up and then hold your stuff for ransom.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like, does that really happen?
Oh yeah, all the time. It's all in the contract, and then people just allow it to happen. They come out and say, "Oh, we're going to move you for $5,000." It's based on weight, by the way, and we're estimating that this weighs 8,000 pounds. And then they come get it, and it weighs 16,000 pounds. Hey, surprise! It's $10,000. You signed the contract,
right? And your stuff's already on the truck, so
on the truck,
you have no recourse.
Yep, you pay us or yeah, don't get it.
That wouldn't work out so well if they tried that with John Cologne. Let's just say that. My dad. That would not be a good day for the movers.
I'm pretty sure there's some videos and stories out there where people pulled guns on the moving companies for trying this stuff. Yeah. Luckily, we're not those kind of people. We will always put the client first. And truth be told, if a client said, I don't like that, we're going to fix it. No matter what, if it's on us or not on us. 9 times out of 10, it's not on us, and we still fix it.
Gotcha.
Not fixing furniture, fixing situations. Hey, we had a time, we showed up, and the people's sidewalk was not poured. There was no sidewalk that went to their door. And so the customer's like, and I'm trying to explain, like, this is going to take a long time if we have to go around the side. And I could see that she was like, oh, I'm not paying another $1. I'm like,
plywood?
Okay.
What'd you do?
Called the office and said, hey, this was when I was on the job. I said, get a piece of plywood down here. We're going to put some stuff down. We made it work. We got it done. Kept it in the estimate. I took her problem, made it my problem. God forbid she would have let the moving company know, hey, there's no sidewalk poured here.
I like how you put that. You took the customer's problem and made it your problem, and then you came up with a solution. I feel like Trey does that a lot.
Yeah. I put it a little differently. I tell our field reps, hey, part of the job is sometimes you just got to be a punching bag. If they want to punch, you're the punching bag. Sit there, smile, nod.
You ever lost your cool with a customer?
One time, a long time ago, when we were early on.
A youthful mistake.
Yeah,
right?
I haven't in a long time. I usually just get the shit-eating grin and nod and let them yell at me and let them get it out. But I remember a specific time. We did the roof. We're done for a couple months. The cousin's a painter. He came over. He looked at it. He said this. He said that. Right. So it was down below the fascia. It was like finished soffit work that was, not part of the roof, not part of the job, not replaced. And I was trying to explain to the lady, hey, that's not the roof. We didn't touch that. That's not us. You got to get a different trade in here to do it. She says, well, I want you to do it. I'm telling you to do it. I'm like, I was having a rough day. I go, I'm not going to do it. And she's like, I'm telling you to do it. I'm like, you can tell me to mow the lawn too, but I'm not going to fucking do it. And she lost her mind. And she said I was kicked out of the neighborhood, but plenty of roofs in that neighborhood.
I had mine recently. A couple of weeks ago, I had my first time ever. And I used it as a coaching moment. I wasn't happy about it. But I had a client demand that our guys stay till the job was done. It was an hourly water damage job that we were not setting up quotes. We were just getting guys out to help out. Like, let's help them. We're gonna listen. We don't have time to come out, look at it. We know that you need that stuff out immediately. Here's our next availability. I have 2 guys available. This is, you can have them for the day. We sent the 2 guys out there. The guy completely misrepresented everything he had. Full pack, full everything. The guys were out there till I want to say 11 o'clock at night. And at the end of the day, at 6 o'clock, my guys were like kind of making comments about, it's a long day. Can we come back tomorrow? And the guy said, absolutely not. This has to be done today because the contractors come tomorrow. He made his problem ours. Yeah. And so we said, okay. We talked to the guys. When I say we, my office talked to the guys and said, listen, we need to get this done. Can you hammer this out? They said, we'll stay till it's done. We'll do that. Wow. 11 o'clock comes, they're finally done. The customer pays the bill. Next morning says that he doesn't feel like he should have paid the bill because he had to help to get it done by 11 o'clock. How does that make any sense? No. I'm sitting there listening to this, and I'm looking at the house. It's right on the water in Palmetto. I hope he listens to this. Actually, I don't know what to say. Anyways, but I saw this, and I saw his comments back and forth to my office because I can look at the CRM. I couldn't help myself. I hopped in. And
Give me the phone.
I said, it's very clear that you don't appreciate what we did for you and that you're only out to take money from a hardworking company. That's what I said, and I regretted it as soon as I sent it.
Yeah.
As soon as I sent it.
Yeah.
I just, I ate my words immediately. I'm like, shit, man.
It does no good. I think about it all the time because you overhear, the customer, just badgering the office staff, and you're like, oh, God. And you're like, you want to grab the phone, and they're like, okay, I should not grab the phone.
It's tough because I really do care about my clients. I do everything I can to take care of them, and then you have people that come in like this, and it makes you not want to do that, but you just got to look past it. And same thing with bad employees. If an employee does some really wild stuff, like I can give somebody a $600, a loan because they're down on their luck, and then the next week they just quit. And it makes you just never want to do anything like that for your employees again. Yep. But you just got to look past it. You can't let the bad ones ruin it for the good ones.
And, you remember the bad ones more because they stick out like a thorn in your side. Yeah. And then you take a step back and you're like, that's one out of how many?
Oh, yeah. We're hardwired as humans to put more on the negative than on the positive.
Well, let's talk about positive.
We're hardwired.
I had a guy go out.
Negative campaign ads. That's why they work.
Where the Villages is? The Villages.
Yeah.
Up north? Yeah.
Yeah.
We had one of our guys. We did a job up in the Villages, and this was 2 weeks ago, not even. And something happened with the bed. Something wouldn't go back together correctly, and my guy went out there on a Sunday. Drove up there on a Sunday to fix it. Nobody knew about this. We found out afterwards. Like, what? Are you serious?
So that's like an hour and 45 minutes away.
That's an employee of the month all day.
Right.
Employee of the month. $100 gift card. Here's a drill. Got a pair of shoes, boots, whatever, work boots. That's a hell of an employee. That's some good stuff.
Speaking of the drill, we just got my guy Joe one of those new Milwaukee battery-powered nail guns.
Congratulations, Joe.
Congratulations.
All right. Guys, well, Blake, thanks you so much for being here and telling, I love your stories because, you kind of tell it how it is. And I think when the viewers see this, they'll feel like they're sitting right here with us. And that's kind of what we strive to do and have that environment and atmosphere where we can have these honest conversations about business, the community, and just life. Yeah. So I think that's what makes this fun to do.
No, this was a lot of fun. Hopefully they see the quality company through some of the jokes that we said here.
No, I think quality. I think you got your point across. You did to me at least. So
right,
that's interesting stuff. We don't like to let our guests leave until we ask them one last question. Usually I ask. You want to ask it today, Trey?
Stop being weird.
Stop being weird. Wow, I'm just trying to spread the enjoyment here. Okay, so you've been on Sarasota Speaks. Thanks for being here. We always like to ask our guests, who do you know who Sarasota needs to know, who we may not know? Who should we invite on Sarasota Speaks?
I know a lot of good people. Man, you just dropped that one on me. You want some fired up energy? It's tough. There's one person on my mind, but she's a realtor. I don't know if realtors bring anything for you guys, but there's one person.
Well, no, we have a
no realtor policy.
Usually,
been broken about 5 times.
No, but listen, we don't want conventional realtor discussions, right? So if someone's a realtor, we're not holding any of his career against them. But, we need to know. No, but we need.
I love realtors.
Yeah, realtors are great. I do too. They're
she's
great.
up and coming as a woman, and she's just.
But we don't want to have the same discussion that everybody has. Like, I'm the number one. No, everybody's the number one.
She's actually brand new, but her energy is amazing. And
is she new to town or new to the profession?
New to the profession, and she's crushing it. Like, she's got me. I want to put her on payroll just to ride her coattails on the way to the top. She just got set up as president-elect of Women's Council of Realtors, Sarasota, and has never had anything to do with it prior to this. That's how much good energy. Her name was Joanna.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, oh my, she's just amazing. Everything she does, and her energy, good energy will always attract everything that you want. Money, people, things, power,
okay. Well, cool.
Fun.
Well, we're working on some new concepts for next year where we're going to be able to include more different types of professions. So maybe she would fit into one of those. Yeah. So we'll keep that name in mind. Do you have anybody else since we got you?
Sure.
I know you're not a guy who does the minimum, and the minimum is 1. So we're going to ask you for 2 today.
Of other, you put me on the spot, man.
Of course, that's what we do. Well, you've seen the show before. So you knew we were going to ask. That's like coming on here and not assuming we're going to ask you about roundabouts. I mean, that's what we do.
Roundabouts, what is that? I don't have anybody off the top of my head that I can throw out there. I'm drawing blanks.
Okay. What about any of your partners?
Beating this horse.
I'm gonna beat it. What about one of the partners from the nonprofits that you guys have done things with?
Oh,
yeah. We're always looking for more nonprofits 100%. To spotlight on this podcast.
Yeah. Selah Freedom All Day Long in America.
That'd be great.
Their business development, Yvonne. She's amazing.
Let's get her on.
And she'll probably say great things about me because we made her the hero of that story.
Well, listen, that's part of the reason we ask our current guests because we know they're not going to invite people that are going to not talk great about them, right? So it's kind of a win all around. All right.
Good deal.
Well, Blake, thanks so much for being here, man, and telling your story.
Yeah, thank you.
And for everything you're doing in the community.
Sorry for my tardiness.